gentlemen, were the size of my little daughter Sarah, who's blessed with perfect vision. They had little canes like the one I had before and sunglasses. Some of them were dropped on doorsteps. Some of them were orphaned and foster children whose parents couldn't handle their disability. I believe disability is only a state of mind. These little kids came over to me in all my anger and rage, and I kneeled down on one knee, and they touched my hands, and they touched my arms, and they made me cry, and they touched my heart forever. And at that instant, my life turned around on June 9th, 1984, and I finally understood why I'm blind. My eyes have closed to open up thousands of others. I'm simply a vehicle for a message. And I looked up, and I said, dear Lord, give me the strength to do this for these children who've never seen, and for all those people who think they can't do something. And I came down, ladies and gentlemen, I had the chills. And I never knew what it was to have the Holy Spirit in me. And on my next throw, I broke the world record by 40 feet. And as the spear landed in the ground, ladies and gentlemen, it killed my angry heart forever. I am now here. I hope you're here for everybody else but you. I'm here for everybody else but me. I just got about 9,000 invisible gold medals around my neck tonight for being here to help you. And you could do the same every day on the job, every day showing the plan, every day walking the talk, every day being a role model for your family as someone to emulate and someone to look up to. All the people who are around you, your heritage, your children and your children's children. I now have a purpose. That's the 5th P. The 6th P. The 6th P, ladies and gentlemen, of the 7 Ps that enhance performance are people, special people. Dedicate something of yourself every day of your life to somebody other than you, and I'll guarantee success. In everything you do, if you put God first, He'll crown your efforts with success. He who humbles himself shall be exalted, and he who exalts himself shall be humbled. Don't ever forget it. Don't ever forget it. I love people. I love my family more than anything. If you put special people in your mind and hearts as someone to dedicate something to, if you've lost a loved one recently, remember this, that life is a race. I can guarantee it. Life is a race. If you're facing the right direction, ladies and gentlemen, some people may pass you up in the race of life, but I guarantee you they're waiting for you at the finish line so we all can rejoice together in victory. Guaranteed. Dedicate something to someone or something other than yourself, and you're guaranteed to be a champion. Put that in your toolbox. Number 7, the 7th P, prayer enhances performance. I left the best for the last. That's the most awesome tool in the toolbox. Prayer enhances performance. I do a lot of talks to schools. A little 4th grade girl came up to me one time and said, Mr. Ruffalo, you're so bubbly and exciting. How could you be so happy if you'd never seen your wife and little girl? Kids have such a way of being so innocent and so true. Bing! If you ever saw the movie The Shining, I felt like Scatman Carruthers after this. And I was sitting there on my heels. This girl's 9 years old. Nothing like getting, she's made Barbara Walters look shy. And I'm sitting there, and I took the little hatchet out of my head, and you know what? This girl was reading my heart. Because secretly inside of me, I believe in the good Lord. He has turned me around, and He's used me as a human dart to hit your hearts. And I know, like Thomas Jefferson once said, awesome quote, a candle loses nothing of itself when lighting other candles. He lit me up. I'm on fire. You can light up the people in your lives too. The little girl told me that. I secretly had been praying about that. And here's what my prayer was, and I'll share it with you. My prayer was, we talked about puzzle pieces earlier this week. I heard Kim Schmitz talking about the puzzle pieces in your kids. Secretly, my prayer was, I said, dear Lord, I have everything going for me. I'm a happy guy. I've got an education. I've got a job. I've got a purpose. I've got a career. I've got people who love me. I've got anything I need. There's only 2 pieces left on this earthly puzzle I don't have. One little glimpse of my wife and one little glimpse of my daughter. Now, I know I've been a bad guy for a long bunch of years, and now I finally turned the corner. But please, if you ever saw fit, I would appreciate it if you someday let me see my wife and daughter. I prayed about that, silently, not consciously, subliminally, for months. I know God loves me being a javelin thrower. I came home from track practice one day from coaching. Totally blind. Been blind since 1984. It's 1990. I walked in my condo, opened the door, and ladies and gentlemen, it was like somebody turned on a television set. I looked at my wife, and I said, I see you, baby. She says, come on, Rich, don't play around. Because I joke once in a while, like all the time. And she said, don't fool around. I said, Diane, you got a red sweater on. She went, I said, you got a nice necklace on. You got long hoop earrings. I reached out, tweaked her nose. I circled her lips. I gave her a kiss. I talked about what color her fingernail polish was. I saw her shoes. I saw that she really was beautiful. I knew it. And then I looked to the left, and I saw my little 7-month-old daughter going like this on the floor. I looked at her. The hair stood up on my head like it's doing now. If it was any longer, it looked like Don King. That's why I keep it short. And I looked at my little girl, and I looked back at my wife, and the television set went off. My prayer was answered. My 2 pieces of the puzzle are inside right now. My puzzle's complete. I thank him. I'm not... So when you think, ladies and gentlemen, when you think something's impossible, I am living proof. I am living testimony that the impossible can come true, and you can move mountains. And if not, he'll give you the strength to drill right through them. That's the 7 P's that positively enhance performance. Thank you. Thank you. You are psyching me up. You know what? If I was in the Macy's parade, now I'd have rope burns on my ankles from hanging up real high. There's a few more tools in the toolbox. They're real short and sweet, but I'd like to give them to you so you could add them to you for your road to success. I believe that obstacles and adversities are simply challenges, and challenges are the rungs on the ladder to success. And I don't have problems, ladies and gentlemen. You don't have problems. All you have is challenges. Champions conquer their challenges. Here's another tool for your toolbox. A negative and positive checklist. You draw a line down the middle of a piece of paper. You put a P on one side. You put an N on the other side. And you list all of your positive attributes. Bon vivant, suave, debonair, pretty cool, got a nice build. Put it all down. Forget humility for a while. You know that little thing I said before. Just forget it. Hold it in abeyance. And list all your positive attributes. And then, a little courage now, go to the end side. List all your negatives. The worst things you think about yourself. The worst things I used to think about myself. Blind. I thought it was something to be embarrassed about. You name it. Overweight. Whatever you want to put down as negative, you put it down. And here's what champions do. Go to your family, go to your friends, go to your downline, go to your upline. Say, listen, I want you to do me a favor. Take this list and add some to the columns. Now don't be nasty. Forget the P's. Let's go to the N's. Yeah, crush them. Yeah, stomp on them. No, be fair. Be fair. List them all. And you know what? Take a pencil. Cross out every negative you cannot do anything about forever. Don't waste any energy on something you can't change. Blindness, cross it out. Whatever your thing is, cross out the negative you can't change. Don't waste any time on it. And circle all the N's that someday should be in your P column. Circle them and put an arrow to the P side. Then make about 4 or 5 copies when the boss isn't looking. Ask for permission. And put one in your wallet. Put one in the mirror. Put one on the refrigerator set next to the smiley face your 6-year-old drew, and be a little bit better every day. When I go out to make a speech, I try to be a little bit better every time. Every time. I try. Never criticize those who try and fail, only those who fail to try. I try. And maybe half the times I'm not, but maybe half the times I am. And the way I do my math, the new math, I'm 180 times better. Never stop. Try to improve. The negative and positive checklist really works. And here's one for you. You're going to meet people like this in your business every day or in life every day. A-I-R. And that's where I wrote it, right in the air. What's that stand for? 3 kinds of people. The A people are active, I, inactive, R, reactive. Now, as far as inactive, I'm not going to waste one more second on that. Forget it. Let's go to the reactive. Some people only get off their duff when you force them. They're counterpunchers. That's not good enough. You got to be active. But then you want to be the best kind of active. Take that A, put an H over it. Jody Victor, hyperactive. Ed Foreman. I say that with all due respect. They can take their hyperactivity and channel it and to become champions of the human spirit. Hyperactive, active. You want to do it a little better? Let's add a P under the A. Be proactive. Be a team. Work together. You've heard together everybody accomplishes more. I call it a totally excellent alliance for magnificence. That sounds much better. That sounds, and there is no I in team. And don't be an island in your office. If something works for you, if something works in your upline, or something works for you personally in your life, share it with your friends. Everybody wins. Profits go up for everybody. Be a team player. Be a team player. Happy, hyperactive, active, proactive, and the last one and the best one, the real team players are interactive. And if you look at that little acronym, you are happy. H-A-P-I. There it is. Another tool for your toolbox. Now, I know Casey Kasem's hits of the week used to travel all around the country. Anybody remember Casey Kasem? The pick hit of the week? Top 40? I'm probably dating myself, and people say you should, nobody else will. But the pick hit of the week. Now, if you put the letters pick, hit in a descending fashion down, look at what this means. Here's how you're guaranteed success in whatever you do. Throw this one in your toolbox and use it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Remember, if you truly believe, you will truly achieve. The pick hit. P, be polite. I, be inflective. C, be consistent. One thing somebody once told me, a liar does not have to have, an honest person does not have to have a perfect memory. Only liars. Be consistent. Be consistent. K, knowledgeable. Know your product. Know what you're talking about. Get trained. Be a student. Be the best you can be. H, helpful. Always help people. Say, I ain't got time for you. See you later. I'm watching TV. No, don't do that. I, intuitive. Try and read people's hearts. Pray for that. That'll help you. Pull out that other tool I gave you earlier. That'll help you. H, helpful. I, intuitive. And T, be timely. If you say you're going to be there at 9 o'clock, be there. Don't stand anybody up. And you will be a pick hit of the week, every week of your life. People say, it must be nice to be wealthy. We hear a lot about wealth. I think that people shouldn't judge wealth strictly by the amounts of dollars in their pocket, but the amount of love that they can give and they can receive, and the amount of respect that they can command and never have to demand. Here's a short little story about a man, the miser. True story, by the way. Unbelievable. There was a man, he made a whole bunch of money. He took every bit of it, stuffed it in coffee cans, stuffed his mattress, put it behind window frames, behind picture frames, underneath closet doors. He hid all his money. He started to die of a terrible fatal disease. He called his wife, who was a good Christian woman, over to his deathbed and made her promise, gave her a list of all the places he hid his money, made her promise to bury him with all his money. And he had 5 children. Talk about building legacies. He didn't care about anybody but himself. But she was a good woman, and she said she would honor his request. And when he was laid out at his funeral, she went up to pay her last respects to him. Looked in the casket, pulled out a checkbook, wrote him a check, stuffed it in his pocket, and slammed down the lid. Never forget your people and your family. There are some stories of some people who had the courage to begin again. I want to share. They're all short little stories as I begin to wind down here. some short stories of people who had the courage to begin again, just like you in the audience. Just like you are going to begin again after this weekend, every weekend for the rest of your life, into the beyond, because you're going to build legacies. You want your family to look up to you and look on to you forever and ever with the mark you leave now by earning those invisible gold medals. There are some stories of some awesome people. There was a boy who got thrown out of school. They said he was retarded. They said he was just out and out dumb. He was ornery. He'd stick people's heads in the inkwell, rip down bulletin boards, kick the garbage can. May sound like a few of us that are in the audience tonight. They took him and they told him he got to stay home. He couldn't go to school. He needed bedside tutoring because he was nuts. The tutor came in, he threw dirt bombs at him when he walked in, gave him a hot foot. And just to make his parents proud, he burnt down their barn. What a great guy. He was steeped in negativity. Begin again? He did. His name was Thomas Edison. He became the best inventor in the history of the United States. And when somebody asked Mr. Edison, how could you invent the light bulb, the incandescent lamp? You failed 12,000 times. You could see what a genius he really was. They said, how did you do it? He said, simple. I just did it all the ways that wouldn't work, and the only way left was the right way. That's what you all have to remember here tonight. Learn from your mistakes. There's another story, another short one I think you'll appreciate very much. There was a girl who was crippled. She couldn't move too well at all. She was bedridden. Her mother waited on her like an angel of mercy. She's about 14, 15 years old. And people thought that someday that if the woman died, that would be terrible. Negative self-fulfilling prophecies sometimes come true. The woman died of a massive heart attack, left her crippled daughter all alone. She was a champion. She turned her page. She grew up to be Eleanor Roosevelt, one of the finest first ladies. And this one psychs me up. There was a guy who developed the first chemotherapeutic drug in 1910. He called it number 606. The reason he called it 606 is because the first 605 times it didn't work, ladies and gentlemen, and he was trying to develop a drug to save his little daughter who was dying of the disease. What a champion of the human spirit. There was a girl I met last year with the disabled athletes. She went to Ohio State University, Jody, not too far from where you're from, Ohio State University. And she was on the women's crew team, all-American girl. Her dream was to make the Olympics. Her name was Diane Strode. She was the stroke in the crew shell, the best rower. Two girls from that shell made the 1992 Barcelona Games. Diane was the best of all. She was on the back of her boyfriend's motorcycle, and a drunk driver came up over the crest of a hill and hit their motorcycle head on and sheared her leg off at the hip. It wound up a half mile, a quarter mile down the road. As she lay on the side of the road, this champion, she had the courage to grab an artery and to cling desperately to life. She told me this story. She said she had low self-esteem. My eyes popped out of my head. She then went on to be fitted with a prosthetic leg. And in 1992, she swam for the U.S. disabled swim team and won the gold medal in Barcelona in the 100 freestyle in world record time. Her dream came true, and the story's not done yet. The story's not done yet. She just finished her rotations in Johns Hopkins Medical School. She's going to be a surgeon. Talk about champion of the human spirit. She's awesome. As I wind down tonight, I am a teacher. There's a story of a teacher in a classroom who had 5 little kids in the classroom. One of the girls was left on a doorstep. She was totally misshapen, malformed. Everybody said she was the kid with no talent. No tests had ever assessed any talent in this young little girl. She was all alone with no one. She wasn't even pleasing to the eye. And in the special ed class, the teacher handed out a 5-pound block of plasticine clay and handed it to the kids because she needed a break. And she turned around and she realized what she had done. She gave this little girl, the girl with no talent, a 5-pound block of clay. She had no idea what was going to happen. When she turned around, her eyes popped out and opened up like saucers. the little girl had molded and sculpted an Olympic champion holding laurel leaves of victory up on high. It looked like something Michelangelo had done. And the little girl held it up to the class. And she said, "What is it?" And they said, "It's a champion." She said, "You're right." Then she took it, ladies and gentlemen. She smashed it and rolled it up. She said, "What is it now?" They said, "It's a ball." She said, "No, it's not." She said, "That's a hidden champion." Ladies and gentlemen, that's the hidden champion inside of each and every one of you. She turned out to be the smartest of all. As I leave you tonight, you never know when you're going to unlock that hidden champion inside of you. Have the courage to turn that key, turn that ignition, and put it in overdrive. In Australia, as far as the eyes can see, once a year, the tides recede and billions of starfish die in the hot Australian sun once a year. There was a man about my age, about your age, picking up starfish one by one and throwing them back into the sea. And there was a young teenage boy jogging across the beach, thought the man had flipped his wig and escaped from a insane asylum. Saw the man crying and throwing him back into the sea, one after the other. The young man jogging on the beach, the young teenager, ran up to the man and said, "Sir, what on earth are you doing?" The man said, "Excuse me, son, I got to save him." The boy said, "Sir, you can't possibly make a difference." The man picked up the next starfish, held it in front of the young boy's face and said, "Son, to this one, I can make all the difference in the world." And he threw it back into the sea of life. I challenge each and every one of you tonight, including myself, to make a difference in someone's life. Don't be the kind of person who runs by the people on the beach. You might see some starfish that need to be picked up. Be a local bus driver. Pick them up. Earn those invisible gold medals that no one can see. Pick them up and throw them back into the sea of life, and you're guaranteed to make the Hall of Fame that we all want to accede to. And before I leave you, I want you to remember something that has helped me through many, many rough times. In life, there are no overachievers. There are simply underestimators. And if you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you'll still wind up in heaven. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you. Thank you. Ernie. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Guy, I need you to give me a hug. Tell me we got to do one left.
You did a home run, baby.
My wife did one. Thank you very much. Before I leave you tonight, you're psyching me up. Before I leave you tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I have one 30-second experiment. I'm a teacher. There will be a quiz. I want to call Ernie out here and his wife, Michelle, and my wife, Diane. Where are you, Ernie? All right, Ernie, I want you to... Ernie, you've shrunk. Oh. Okay. Ernie, can you come over here? I love it. Michelle. All right. Oh, man. Okay, Ernie. Okay, I want you to be my left eye. Michelle, I want you to be my right eye. I want you to be my heart. If I only had a brain. No. We're going to do a little experiment. I want everybody here, just one quick direction, and then we'll rock and roll. One quick direction. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand as high as you can right now. Now, if you don't have a right, put up your left. And if you don't have a left, raise your eyes to the Lord. But put your right hand up now as high as you can. And I'm going to ask you, is it as high as you can? And you're going to say, yeah! How's that sound? You ready? Is it as high as you can? Yeah! I can't hear you. Yeah! Then do me a favor. Put it a quarter inch higher. Yeah! Put it down. Ernie, how'd they do?
They did great.
How'd they do, eyes?
Awesome.
Good, heart, soul. Listen, a winner, a champion, a person with the courage to begin again, reaches in and gives just a little bit more to help somebody and earns those invisible gold medals only God can see. Thanks again, and God bless you. Thank you. Okay.